And being that you're a communication coach, I know it's tough to align communication with stopping communication, but for the well-being and the welfare of your own, self, it's important to disconnect every once in a while. So
absolutely, even because the first person you have to learn to speak with is yourself.
Welcome back to Pivot Mode, where we unpack the moments that challenge us, shape us, and transform the way we live, lead, and show up in the world, so we can leave a better blueprint for Gen Z and the generations that follow. I'm your host, Valerie Destin, and today's conversation is one you won't want to miss. As you know, I always begin the podcast with a relevant quote that aligns with the topic of discussion. Today's quote goes as follows: "A pivot isn't proof that you were on the wrong path. It is evidence that you had the courage to outgrow the one you were on." Today's guest is someone who embodies the courage to lead authentically. Marco Polito is an award-winning speaker, former maritime leader and trainer, and executive communication coach who has helped leaders, managers, and professionals learn to communicate with clarity, influence decisions, and perform under pressure. But today's conversation goes far beyond public speaking. It's about finding your voice in a world that often judges before it recognizes talent. It's about turning assumptions into strength, owning your identity unapologetically, and learning that your greatest power often lies in the very thing that makes you stand out. His personal brand is centered around leadership under pressure, communication, confidence, and his own courageous transition from maritime leadership to coaching and entrepreneurship. He spent nearly 2 decades in the maritime industry before pivoting into training, coaching, and helping others navigate change. Marco, it is absolutely a pleasure to have you join us on Pivot Mode.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
It's my honor.
It is such a pleasure to have you. I know we've been trying to do this for a while now, so I'm so happy that we finally got it on the plate.
Likewise.
Good. I understand you went to Italy.
Yes.
How was it?
Amazing.
I know. We always talk about how much you love your hometown. And I know the boys are there, and it was so good to know that you went and you were able to spend time with the family. Because I see the tan, so I can tell you had a good time, right?
I had, especially because I come from Napoli.
Okay.
And the weather right now are amazing, so you have time and possibility to rent a boat, to go in a close by island, and this is exactly what I did. I just switched it off with digital life, with colleagues and a meeting, and I just enjoyed the life.
Good, because it's good to, just get off of social media every once in a while and disconnect. And being that you're a communication coach, I know it's tough to align communication with stopping communication, but for the well-being and the welfare of your own, self, it's important to disconnect every once in a while. So
absolutely, even because the first person you have to learn to speak with is yourself.
Good. I like that. So let's jump into the questions.
Go ahead.
Now, you spent nearly 20 years in the maritime industry.
Yep.
On paper, it looks good. It looks like a really rich and fulfilling career. Now, what made you realize that another chapter was knocking at your door?
Great. First of all, let me give you a context, because you may eventually work in the maritime industry with several different roles. Mm-hmm. I was working as a deck officer. Mm-hmm. So try to give a picture. I was with white uniform, traveling all around the world, which initially might sound like the perfect career, because the salary is good, you have so many places to visit. And when you are young and free, it's literally perfect, and it's a boost even for your growth. However, during the life, the priorities change, especially when you get kids. And that was the moment I realized that staying far away from home was not a pleasure anymore for me. And when you are around 35, I believe we must go through that kind of existential questions. Am I doing what I want to do for the next 20 years? Am I on the right path? And obviously I did the same. I start to wonder exactly the same question. And the answer was no. I don't want to stay in the middle of the sea for 20 more years. I don't want to just keep watching my kids on mobile phone, on WhatsApp or whatever. But the question is, okay, what I know, what I do, how can I change? And this is where probably this podcast Pivot is fitting perfectly with my story, because that was the moment I changed.
Yeah, you had to make a pivot for the well-being of not just your family, but for yourself.
Yes.
Right? And that is the foundational element of the podcast, like you said. It's these pivot moments that you think you entered a career and you would remain in that career forever.
Yes.
Right? You succeeded at it. You did really well at it. But at some point you had to step back and say, I gotta make a decision.
Yeah.
And the decision has to be well thought out in order for me to justify doing it.
Yeah.
And there was nothing more justifiable than your children and your family.
Yeah.
So I agree. Now, you've described entrepreneurship as a calling.
Yes.
That after such a beautiful, rich career, that entrepreneur was the next step for you. What was the moment that you realized, wait, I can use my skills, my talent, my personality, and switch it into entrepreneurship?
Good question. First of all, we should make one step back, because we give for granted that we know what is our talent, but we don't know. I personally was constantly looking for my talent. What is my expertise? What is that one thing I can eventually do better than anybody else? And while I was working on board, I was constantly trying to figure out. And then I found, because when you are a deck officer on the cruise ship, you are supposed to train many other crew members about what to do in case of emergency, how to lower the lifeboat, the life rafts. And every day I was having a group of 20 crew members, 3 groups per day. And I remember that the feedback even to me were quite positive. Then I start to realize, all right, maybe communication could be the one. And then what I did, I tried to challenge myself and to see if eventually communication could become and turn into my job. I proposed myself to my company, which was Royal Caribbean, to assign me for bigger projects where I could eventually be assigned for training bigger number of crew members. And that is when the life starts to challenge you. Whenever you just move one step toward one specific direction, then the universe in somehow start to align the dots. And the company, which was, and it is right now the biggest in the world, they given me the opportunity. They sent me on board another vessel to implement one project, and I was supposed to speak in front of 1,000 crew members. Now, they were not just crew members, they were captains, managers, engineers, and obviously you start to shake a little bit. That was the day I understood that one story is to love someone or to feel that you are natural in something, and completely another story is to master something. That day I said, okay, if I want a communication become my job, I need to discover everything about communication. And I start to read every single book, to attend every single workshop, seminar, masterclass. And that was the moment I start to consider then to share it, to share what I learn, and to help others to get rid of fear of public speaking and to open eventually new doors, new opportunities. And I launched, the first project was in Italy, where I was helping new young generations of seafarers to become a better version of themselves by improving communication and to find a bigger company on international market later instead of small companies. And the name was We Dreaming Big. So the name is already saying a lot about the project. And then an international base, I start to do exactly the same, but for executives, especially here in UAE.
Perfect. Which is so open to coaches and trainers and consultants in the communication arena. I love that about the UAE. They are always looking to improve and looking to create better working settings for their employees. And communication and wellness and health has been a big catapult and catalyst into the new their new approach to developing better companies.
Yes.
Now, so now, why do you think, because you made such a big shift in your career,
Yes.
right? Why do you think that so many talented people stay in careers regardless of them feeling that career no longer fits them?
When you start your career, you are about 20 years old, right? And obviously you jump into the first job opportunity you have. And then when you are about 35, you already developed certain skills. You already developed certain knowledge. And then you start to consider eventually to change job, to change career, or to stand on alone, to jump into entrepreneurship. The problem is that we have no idea how to do. We are scared, we are afraid, we have zero knowledge how to move alone. And that means to jump out from the comfort zone. We are struggling with that. And then it's the moment where we realize that probably it's better to stay in our comfort zone. And then we start even to give excuses. I have kids, I cannot risk so much. And that is the problem. I believe 90% of the people is going through. Because there is no academy, no school for entrepreneurship. It's a journey. It's a solo quest. And you have to figure out your own. Failing, falling, all the time, alone. Against everybody, because you will never find anyone to cheer for you, to support you. And this is the reason why most of the people, they just decide to stay where they are.
Yeah, and that's a thing that people are staying in 30, 40 years of the same careers that their heart probably was no longer invested in. But this generation is different.
Yes.
Whatever they feel, they do.
Yes.
Wherever they're not comfortable, they will leave.
Yes.
And that is where our generation, I'm a lot more seasoned than you, but my generation and your generation as well, right? Our goal is to leave a better blueprint for them.
Yeah.
So that they know, yes, if your heart desires something else, take that leap. Take that chance. Pivot. Fall, stand back up, start over. Because we've been through it and we know that you can bounce back. It's just having them believe that is possible. And understanding that they don't have all the answers. Just like you said earlier, at 20, you think you have all the answers. You really don't. And I wish they believed that they didn't, in order for them to look forward to their 30s and their 40s and knowing that's when you're going to start understanding life and things are going to start falling into place.
Yes.
Right? So what was your greatest fear, being that we're talking about fear? What was your greatest fear when you decided to leave the identity that you had built for yourself?
I believe the same fear of anybody else, the unknown. I don't know what will happen. Because when we choose to do something different from the majority of our friends, colleagues, family, this is the point that you have no role model. You have no one you can ask. You have no mentors. You can be coached. And then you start to understand that you are going toward the unknown. Now, if I think about my parents, and probably your parents too, they had just one job for 40, 50 years. And this is our role model. The initial role model we have, it's obviously what we see inside our house. The initial educational role model we apply with our kids is what we see inside our house. And that was happening the same for this journey. I don't know what to do, but I know that I have to do. Because you feel that there is something inside you, this fire, this vocation, this call, this mission. And you cannot shut up this voice inside you. You know that you will be awake all single night of your life if you don't do something. And personally, I prefer to die one day with conviction that at least I tried, instead of regret because I never given a voice to this inner voice.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's such a buzz. It's like a nagging buzz that you cannot shake because it's calling you, it's speaking to you, it's telling you that this is what your next step should be.
Yeah.
So a lot of people quiet that voice, and I love the fact that you said you've given a voice to your inner voice, and that allowed you to step away from something that you knew and that you were so well at for 20 years, and decided to take the leap and do something new. So what led you to the UAE?
Very nice. UAE, it's a land of opportunity, you know. And here there are possibilities. And here you have the chance to interact and to connect with people easily than Europe. And even the people you meet here in UAE, they have a specific entrepreneurship mindset. And usually in Europe, it's not like that. In Europe, you have to push the people to understand about the importance of trying, challenge yourself, getting out from comfort zone. But here, who is coming here in UAE, is already set up on that frequency. It's perfect. If you have a dream and you are chasing for something bigger, I believe that UAE is the perfect land where to start something and to chase for your dream.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And we have that conversation pretty often as well. The opportunities and the doors that can open here is unfathomable to other places, because the caliber of people that you can get in contact with that are willing to help and that are willing to, navigate through this journey with you is so approachable here.
Yes.
And I see it with the podcasts, the great minds, such as yourself and other guests that I've had, that I would not even begin to be able to approach if I didn't have a certain standing, right? I'm grateful that the podcast is growing and that people are, really responding to it. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
And I have to owe it to the amount of people who believe in it in the UAE and who are pushing it and who are so willing to come and have a conversation with me and give me the opportunity to grow. And I could only say that this region and this country is the only place that we would be able to do such caliber of stuff.
You nailed it. Yeah, exactly. And even this, you just said, the only fact that you are surrounded by dreamers, by visionaries, this also is a boost for your dream. Because imagine to have this entrepreneurship vision between and among people which they are literally having other type of vision, other type of mindset. For you will be extremely hard to stand up. But here, you are challenged all the time because whoever is surrounding you has already this mindset. And when you are aligned with the same frequency of your contest, then the magic is happens.
Yeah, it does. It does. And what I love about it is you're in rooms with people who have, just like you said, the same frequency. So
Yeah.
you have no choice but to elevate. You have no
Yes.
choice but to push yourself.
Yes.
And that's a good message to leave for the next generation, that surround yourself with people, right? Surround yourself with people that are hungry, people that want bigger and better things in life. Because if you surround yourself with people that just like to stay stagnant and are comfortable with where they are, you will have a tendency to want to do the same.
I could agree more. Valerie, if you ask me what is one advice that I can give the 20 years old young boys of myself, will be exactly this. Surround yourself with the dreamers. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with ambitious people, with transparent people, and most important, be extremely careful to the person who will be your partner, because those particulars will be influencing your entire existence at least on 85%.
It's so true. It is so true. And that's a perfect way to transition into my next question, that you were so trained and excellent at training under pressure.
Yes.
How do you flip that in the entrepreneurial world?
Yeah.
Right? That the pressure that comes along with it.
Yeah.
How do you communicate with yourself, right?
Yeah.
As the leader of yourself, on how to handle the real pressures of, developing your skills, developing yourself, believing in your dreams, opening your own business, and just things that you really want to do. That pressure that comes with that. How do you handle that?
Well, consider that I come from maritime industry. I was a deck officer on cruise ship, and I went through emergencies. I went through situations. Now, if you work on board a contest where any mistake may eventually affect more than 5,000 people, you understand how is important for me to know everything about what I'm doing. And if I don't know, I want to know. Whenever I was working on board, I remember that I already went through some emergencies, and I was monitoring how different type of personalities are responding completely in different ways in front of emergencies. And I understood that handling the pressure is one of the most important skills, because otherwise you risk to be overreacting or to freeze. And I have been developing this mindset of understanding how to handle the pressure, thankfully my 20 years in the maritime industry, and I'm glad for that, which was even my leadership academy, because obviously you have so many people to lead with. And that was what I did with my entrepreneurship journey. I just applied the same. Stay calm, consider all the possible patterns, having a plan A, contingency plan, and risk assessment. And by doing this, by trying and by applying, by adjusting all the time the plan, then the things working out. But among of all possible plans, you will always face some situation which was unprepared, and anyway you have to handle it.
And I agree that having that contingency plan is so important, right? Because it gives you that, and it's not a plan B, it's just a contingency plan to support your plan A.
Yes.
Because once you start having plan A, B, C, D, you're never going to accomplish the core goal that you had.
Yeah.
So I love that you said that. And that pressure exists in business building.
Yeah.
And once you have the mindset of controlling that, of how you're going to conduct yourself within that situation, the behavioral patterns, it really gives hope to, I can actually own my own business because I'm mindful of all of the pain points that exist And I have a contingency plan to address all of those things. So with that, you approach it with absolutely no barriers because you understand that there is fear involved because it's a new thing.
Yeah.
However, you're prepared. And that is where I think your skill in handling pressure so well is so ideal to you being an entrepreneur now.
Yeah, it's true. But from the other side, I don't want to give the message that I was fully prepared for that. Because in the life, it's happening that there are certain moments where you have no fully preparation. You don't know exactly how to make the things working out. And this is the part of the journey. And let me say that this is probably even the funny part. We are always waiting to feel prepared to go on the next level. In reality, you will never feel to be fully prepared. And it's totally okay about that. I remember even when I was working on board, we were doing safety drill to try to train ourselves for in case of fire, in case of abandoned ship. But when the real fire arrived, we were quite lost. Doesn't matter how much you prepare in real life, a real challenge, which could be an emergency on board or either a challenge on your business, you will always have this moment of freezing where you don't know what to do, and it's totally okay. That is where your brain is trying to develop additional skills, and you have to embrace that. You have to accept that. I am so jealous when I see those people, especially on social media, appearing always without any weakness, without of any hesitation, such strong, such self-confidence, because I have been working in such leadership environment, even though there are moments in my life where I am struggling, when I am down, where I can't keep my discipline standard on hype, and it's totally okay. It's absolutely okay. This is our life.
And that is so genuine of you to admit that part of being not only an entrepreneur, but a man. Because when it comes to vulnerability, that's very rare.
Yes.
That we, that the male gender says, no, I do not have all the answers. I had moments of weakness.
Yes.
I had moments where I had to pivot and figure things out because I didn't know what was going on. And for you to put a voice to that is so commendable. I commend you on that because it showed that you, at the end of the day, you're still human.
Absolutely.
Right? So share a moment with me where you, or with our audience, where you did have moments where you were uncertain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. First of all, I had many, not only one. And I believe that by sharing how vulnerable we can be, this is where whoever is listening and will be watching this podcast will be connecting with you. Because we all have. It's useless to try to hide. And I remember that, for example, during the COVID, obviously nobody was working on board. All crews around the world were completely blocked. So it means that if you were eventually a deck officer of cruise industry market, you were unemployed from one day to another. So I have been unemployed for 2 years because the cruise market was stopped. And initially I was lost. And I remember that I had my first child with 2 years, and another one was about to come. So not so much financial resource, not so much saving. I mean, for 2 years, it's really too much to stay without working. And that was the moment I started to think, okay, what I do now? And what I personally did, it was to reinvent myself, to start online project, but at the same time, I was also going to work in my local area for 1/3 of my salary, which was barely paying my rent. And I remember that the job that I was doing, now try to figure out that. I was working in this factory. They were delivering some medicine online, okay? And I was just folding the cartons, the box. Yeah. I was a deck officer with such big salary, white uniform, which on board cruise ship is like Hollywood star, and suddenly I was folding the carton box and was totally okay. As well, you know that it's temporary. You take it. As well, you know that you need to develop some additional strength. It's part of the journey. When God is preparing you, you take it and you shut up. As long as you have the deep, strong, and solid trust that something bigger is about to come, and is happened. Because when COVID finished, one of the biggest corporation in the world just called me, and I started again, and I got even a better position.
Wow. Wow. That is such a great story to share, because your moment of quote unquote possible despair turned into a success story. But right in the middle of that success story was vulnerability and humility.
Yes.
Because you were humble enough to say, this job of mine that I need to have to sustain my family is something that is not aligned with my career or my goal or my training, my skills, but I will do it with humility in order to be the man to support my family. And little did you know, over the rainbow or over the hill would be one of the greatest opportunities for you.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's like a movie. So tell me about that. When you got that call.
It was, when you have the feeling that something above is guiding you. Someone may call universe, someone may call intuition. And if you are connected with your life, you have this relationship with intuition. I love always to remind what Steve Jobs once said to one of the most viral intervent to, I believe, Harvard University. He said, whenever you don't know what to do in your future, just follow your heart and your intuition, because in somehow he knows what is supposed to be done. And that is exactly what happened to me. I know that in that specific moment of my life, it was supposed to be happen. Whenever we go through some of the darkest moment of our life, we have the tendency only to focus on that and to complain, why God is giving me this? But we don't see the bigger picture. We don't see that we need to develop some superpower. We need to be prepared for what is coming after. We need to develop new strength. Otherwise, we will be not able to hold what is going to happen. And that was such an important moment for me, to be humble and to embrace what was about to come. And this is what I would like also to share with whoever will be watching your podcast. Just hold on, just relax, just accept, and be confident that something great is about to come.
Yeah. That's the best message you could have given, right? Because as I said, this is our goal is to have a blueprint for the generations behind us, so that they know that people are around to support them, to love on them, to share our experiences with them, so that they know exactly how to tackle these, waves of life's unpredictable, circumstances, and how to handle it, because at the other end, you're going to find clarity. You're going to
Yes.
find clarity. In the moment, it may not feel like it.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, you will find that clarity.
Absolutely. And I want to add something because thanks God in the last 2 years I had opportunity to share communication and public speaking among several different executives, especially here in UAE. And we have the idea that CEOs and entrepreneurs, they have clarity, they have a blueprint, they know exactly what to do, they are self-confident, they are superstar, they are superhero. Let me share something with you. Is absolutely wrong. I know so many of them full of doubts. They don't know even where self-confidence is living, and it's totally okay with that because the fact that you are an expert in a specific topic, which might eventually be AI, engineer, or even business management, doesn't necessarily make of you a superhero immediately. And even on the second stage, you don't need to be everything for everybody. You will have a strength, you will have a weakness, and it's totally okay with that. Then, obviously, if you want to improve some of the areas of your life, such as communication, public speaking, this eventually will have some influence in other area of your life, in other field, such as self-confidence. But everyone have weakness, everyone have doubts, and it's totally okay.
And it's totally okay. It is totally okay. And another thing that I drill into my daughters, like every day, do not let anything define you
Oh, yes.
that is outside of who you truly are.
Yes.
Period. No career, no relationship, nothing
Yes.
should be able to have so much power that
Yes.
it defines who you are. Just in case it crumbles, you don't end up crumbling with it.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely agree.
So how did you build that self-confidence
Yeah.
from the ground up
Yeah.
to allow you to detach yourself from your career, having a tough time during COVID,
Yeah.
figuring out how you're going to support your family,
Yeah.
and then bouncing back to
That's
the man that you are today?
Thank you very much. I want to start with what you just said. Don't let anything to define you. I remember that I did this mistake for a long time. I graduated with minimum score. I was not a very good student. And I was convinced that I was supposed to walk and live with this definition of me for a long time. The day that I start to switch identity to understand that I was a bad student doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be a bad human being, a bad professional, then something changed. Number one, I start to understand which one was my skill. And once I understood that communication eventually want to be one of my strengths, I start to develop as much I can. And once you develop what is already good with you, what you believe you have some kind of a natural talent on that, then you know that it doesn't matter in which league you are playing, you will be shining. And then when I start to speak in so many events, in front of so many important authoritative people, entrepreneurs and CEOs, and I was feeling that the people was the people was admiring, the people was looking at me, this self-confidence, this ability to speak and articulate fluently everything in a language which is not mine, because obviously this is my third language after Italian, Portuguese and English. That was the moment I realized, okay, it's totally okay now. I'm playing in my area. It's communication. I see that the people is enjoying that. There is nothing to be afraid. There is nothing to be scared. And this is what I would like to advise anybody else. Choose one area where you believe you are good with. Someone will be extremely good in engineer, someone with graphic, with the design, someone with communication, someone with computers, someone with the numbers, and then go to develop as much you can in that specific area and pursue it toward those opportunities are linked with that area and go ahead with that. You will find your spot to shine, to bright, to be seen. I guarantee you.
Yeah, no, I believe it. And the fact that, and which I admire about you so much, is that English is your third language.
Yeah.
Right? So Italian, Portuguese, and English.
Yes.
So for you, regardless of your beautiful accent, I think it's beautiful. Your
you.
beautiful accent, you own your qualities and your skills and your personality and what you bring to the table so much that accent is second nature.
Yeah.
Right? English is my first language. French is my second. I speak several. Creole is my third. So I speak several languages as well. But I have grasped the English language. It's that simple. My mother taught us English at home. She was a stickler onto speaking English at home and going to French school. So I speak both languages fluently. However, I am so brilliantly attracted to the fact that you did not just like we said, let that define you, that you have a strong Italian accent, but you relay your information so beautifully and so powerfully that I can see why companies are hiring you as a coach, as a consultant, as a communication specialist, because of the message that you relay, right? So with your company, SIG,
yes,
right?
Speak, Impact, and Grow.
Speak, Impact, and Grow, which I love the title. What is your vision for Speak, Impact, and Grow?
Great. You know, in this last few years, we have been able to help so many people hesitant in showing up, people with serious problem in self-confidence, and so many people with fear of public speaking. And I believe that this is affecting more people than what me and you expect. My vision for the future is to grow and to help always more people in having the courage to step out from the comfort zone, to speak up, to improve their communication, by doing so to improve even their life. Because if you improve communication, you improve the way you interact with others, you improve the way you are perceived personally and professionally. Think about how many job opportunities you will have. Think about the courage to find a new partner, to approach someone, and even the way you communicate and you speak inside your house with your kids. Communication is our life, and if you want to be a good leader, you need to improve communication. There are no good leaders without a good communication. So my vision will be to contribute more and more and to help more people to become a better human being.
I love that. I love that. And it's a great way to close the show because of the message that you are sharing. And I am such an advocate and such a promoter and such a fan, right, of what you're doing, that I continue to wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
Because you deserve it, right?
Thank you.
And this is just the beginning of your journey.
Yes.
You are about to grow and just make a name for yourself. Right?
Thank you.
Now, we have a tradition in the show where we end by shooting fire words at our guests.
All right.
Right? So words that are going to come out, and the first thing that comes to mind is what you say. So you have no chance of thinking.
Okay.
Okay? Because I'm thinking, because I want to get you with this one.
Go ahead.
Passion.
Dream.
Confidence.
Courage.
Uncertainty.
Vulnerability.
Oh, you're good at this. Oh, you're making my job hard. Future.
Life.
Legacy.
Kids.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And for that, I know for a fact that you are leaving the greatest legacy for your boys.
Yes.
You are, because they see the man that you are, the man that you are raising them to become.
Yes.
And the example that you are leaving behind for them, or that you are, living through them, is going to be ingrained in them so much that they are going to be the future amazing men, amazing husbands, amazing fathers that you set the tone for them to be.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're
This is
welcome.
exactly what I'm trying to do. And I believe that any father should try his best to leave a strong, solid legacy with their kids. Eventually, sometimes we have also to break the chain with our ancestors, with our father and grandfathers. We know that they went through different contests, was another time, and sometimes it's our responsibility to break that chain and to create a new legacy with our kids. And this is exactly what I try to do.
Oh, couldn't say it any better. I'm so impressed. I wish you all the luck with the new journey. This is just the beginning of us. You know.
Thank you.
You're stuck with me. I say this to all my guests, though, but you're stuck with me, right? So as we close, I hope that you were able to really internalize and take in everything that was shared today. Our goal with the podcast, as I said, is to develop a blueprint where people can just go and press and say, okay, let me see what the topic of interest was today, how it could relate to me, how I can apply these skills, and how I can apply these techniques that this person shared on the podcast in order to build a better life and a more fruitful and peaceful life for the generations to come. I am proud of this podcast. I will continue to push it with every might in my soul. I encourage you all to continue to support it. And in doing so, please continue to subscribe, leave comments, share on every platform possible, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Leave us your comments, leave us your opinions, share with us what you'd like to hear on the show, and we will make it happen. So, as always, I close with the most love and admiration for what we are doing. And until next time.